Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Yes, we're only 4 episodes in, and the time has come to engage in a tradition as old as time itself. That's right, it's the inevitable Hot Spring episode. The episode in which the entire female cast decide to take a break from plot, story, and character development and laze around either partially or fully naked for the express service of lecherous fiends like you and me. There are too many examples of these things to count, but that hasn't stopped anime autists the web wide from freeing up at least one of their hands to make an entire fucking website dedicated to documenting every single time a bunch of wide-eyed waifus got together to scrub each other's backs and perhaps even more. What can I say? The Japanese understand what a selling point is. Some may balk at the time-honoured custom of the Hot Spring episode, perhaps saying it's unneeded, but I have to point out that your opinion is similarly unneeded, and yet you felt it prudent to inflict that on us all, didn't you? Things don't have to be necessary to be fun or meaningful. In fact, I'd argue the very fact of a thing's unnecessariness can be a source of its charm. Like dogs, for instance. Or women. Totally unnecessary, and yet you love them anyway, no matter how many times they shit on your furniture. I rest my case.
Or they say it's not necessary.
Yeah, I remember, but
As if that should stop one doing it.
So beginning the 4th episode, we find ourselves amid a battle in outer space, which I can only imagine is happening because Leonard Nimoy here won't stop blasting the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins out the spaceship window.
Bilbo Baggins, the bravest little hobbit of them all.
Over at Galaxy Police Headquarters, whatever the hell this thing is tasked by the Marshal with bringing in Kagato, the most wanted criminal in the universe, and don't worry, we'll get to him soon enough. In the meantime, we have ourselves another new character, none other than Detective First Class Mihoshi Kuramitsu. Mihoshi is the archetypical klutz. Disaster follows her wherever she goes, while she remains almost entirely oblivious to it. Think Fackler in Police Academy, but with bigger tits and a lower IQ.
I'm Douglas Fackler. I always wanted to be a cop.
Her superiors want rid of her because her inability to do her job without creating immense levels of rampaging blonde woman destruction is causing entire planets' economies to go into recession. So they send her off to our solar system where she won't do nearly the amount of damage we haven't already done to ourselves. Back down on Earth, Tenchi and the girls are going on vacation to a local onsen, which you'd think would be a relaxing occasion. But of course Ryoko thinks that Tenchi and Ayeko were secretly doing butt stuff up in that mountain cabin and is insanely jealous she wasn't invited. As usual, this puts Tenchi's life in serious danger of imminent murderous waifu violence. Speaking of dangerous individuals, Tenchi's father, Nobuyuki, is up to his old lecherous tricks again, trying to cajole Tenchi into a spot of peeking on the girls in the hot spring next door. Which I don't condone, but at the very least it's a de-escalation from filming his son's bare ass bobbing up and down like a pale and pasty oil pump. Godspeed, Nobuyuki. I hope you never get your comeuppance. You hear me? No comeuppance!
We'll be right back.
Hi there. And what are you doing up here?
After Nobu unceremoniously eats shit and hopefully learns the error of his ways, Ryoko invites Tenchi over to the girls' baths and things, escalate, shall we say.
Did you say something?
Yep, this is where I realised just how much they cut out from this show just to make it palatable for innocent Western eyes. 12-year-old boys in the 90s, feast your eyes and remember what the regime took from you. Ryoko drags Tenchi over to the other side and attempts to drown him because he's seen too much, but it's too late and now he has a dummy mommy fetish. Maybe the censorship was justified. This image alone would have completely ruined an entire generation of boys. That's public school's job, thank you very much. Sasami shows up, and as usual she is so pure and innocent that she doesn't realise she's witnessing a man being sexually assaulted in front of her. Ayeka appears and understandably balks at the idea of bathing naked in front of someone she's only known for mere weeks, but Ryoko pulls her in front of Tenchi, initiating a romantic moment between the two.
She's a babe!
Well, isn't this nice? We've all been waiting for a follow-up to the mountain cabin scene. Surely nothing could possibly ruin such a tender moment. Ayeka dives into the water and her body somehow gets less views than my Let's Play videos. Honestly, if I didn't know any better, I'd say the writers were instigating a full-on cat fight. Oh god, yes. So not only does this episode give us full frontals of 2 of the adult female characters within minutes of starting, it also gives us a naked cat fight? Good lord, no wonder I grew up to be a total pervert. In retaliation for making Tenchi's nose bleed, Ayeka sets an entire squadron of mini dowling rods on Ryoko, who, in an impressive display of restraint and discipline, summons the forces of hell itself to defeat a 90-pound woman in a bathing towel. She figures out pretty quickly that she can't even control the damn thing because she doesn't have all of her wrist gems. So the demon thing destroys half the fucking establishment while Sasami cackles in the background next to a shit-scared Tenchi, and while all this is going on...
System?
Mihoshi, that is exactly what I am trying to tell you. The ship is falling towards the energy pocket. We are out of control!
Oh, that's not so good, huh?
Mihoshi's ship gets pulled into the energy pocket caused by the Lovecraftian entity Ryoko pulled out of her gorgeous ass. Speaking of her ass, it's now suddenly covered by a modest dress, presumably because the director was tired of the animation cells being handed in all sticky and poorly drawn. Naturally, when crazed women make a mess, it's up to the men to clean it up. Unfortunately, they have to settle for Tenchi. Ayeka helps things immensely by yelling on Tenchi to
Tenchi, remember your training!
Training? Bitch, I work on a farm growing carrots and you just summoned a fucking hound of Tindalos into this realm. What do you want me to do? Hoe it to death? Ask Jeremy Clarkson to crash his combine into it?
Oh, fucking hell.
Mihoshi inadvertently saves the day by creating a retard singularity that sucks the creature back to India where it belongs and sending both her and Tenchi crashing back into the hot spring, only for Ayeka to ask if he's still alive. Still alive? Bitch, he got backhanded by a demon, fell 6 stories and is now drowning under the weight of Mihoshi's silicone implants. You'll be lucky if he's heterosexual by the end of this. So the girls focus on bringing the stranger back to consciousness while Tenchi presumably suffers a dislocated spine in the foreground. But luckily everyone seems to be okay. Ayeka and Sasami are unhurt, Mihoshi's retarded, Tenchi's alive, Ryoko's hot. Yep, looks like everything turned out okay in the end.
Dad! The important thing is, I didn't get my comeuppance, and I never will.
And there we have yet another fun and eventful episode of Tenchi Muyo. I hope you aren't chafing too badly. This is a pretty memorable one for obvious reasons. I do remember watching this episode on Toonami as a kid, but I honestly cannot tell you how they edited this considering Ryoko spends a good portion of it completely starkers. I don't know, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I swear this episode was broadcast on Toonami. If anyone happens to have a recording of that version or knows where I can get one, I would be extremely appreciative. Putting aside anime tatas for a moment, this episode is extremely entertaining. It has pretty much everything you'd expect from a show like this. Slapstick, embarrassment humour, sexual innuendo, needless vulgar displays of power, fantasy creatures, and of course, I just love Mihoshi. She destroys everything around her, but you just can't hate her. It's like watching a golden Labrador pup tear up every last shred of toilet paper you have. And she's weirdly competent, as we'll see later on. A fine addition to the harem if ever there was one. But not the last. Whilst the episode is largely a gigantic slapstick comedy sketch, it does end on a note of foreshadowing, setting us up for the antagonist of the first OVA series, motherfucking Kagato. It's a bit of a jarring tonal shift, but fuck it, I don't care. We got anime titties and a cool villain to look forward to, what more do you want? So that was episode 4 of the iconic first OVA series of Tenchi Muyo. Sorry it took so long, had some pretty crazy IRL shit going on. Plus I'm kinda lazy, but you all knew that by now. Anyways, as usual, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, or yell at me in the street. I'm DeadEye, and may you ride the night to the morning sun.
According to this data, Ryooki is a ruthless pirate that destroyed 28 planets and 69 colonies.